Hey, this is Marc Goldberg from Marc Vlogs Watches with yet another car video. And fear not, I will not be often making eye contact with you because safety first, guys. The phone camera is safely mounted, and I'm paying strict attention to traffic, and I apologize for any view straight up of my nose that you may have received. Or any view of my nose that you may receive during the making of this video. You know, you just talk about your nose and then all of a sudden it itches. I'd like you to know that I pluck specifically for you guys whenever I'm at a red light. That's what red lights are for. And if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, well, you're probably doing it wrong. And admit it, you guys do it too. And if you don't do it, oh my God, you should. Some of you people look like you have dreadlocks coming out of your nose. People, youngins, you people under 40, let me tell you, getting older is not for the faint of heart. Okay, enough of this nonsense. Let's get to the quick fist watch check. Wearing the Polar Explorer. I'm loving this watch. Now, I know many consider it to be the dog of the range, which is why I made a video called Rolex Polar Explorer 2 Dog of the Range. I'll stick a link to that video in the description here, but I'm just loving that particular watch. But the Polar Explorer, for once, is not the subject of my video today. This is just a quick rant, discussion, fireside chat, car vlog, discussing why Costco and Sam's Club sell Rolex. Now, every once in a while, a video comes out with somebody going, "Oh my God, can you believe that Costco sells Rolex? Oh my God, it devalues the brand. How did Sam's Club get a hold of Rolex? What's happening?" Well, calm down, people. It's just part of the gray market. So here's how this works. You have your authorized dealers, and you have everything else. Everything else consists of lots of things, but let's first talk about the authorized dealer. There are only X number of authorized dealers, and in order to become a Rolex authorized dealer, boy, you have to meet some incredibly stringent requirements. And, you know, I only know some of them, but among them are you have to have really upscale retail space. So you cannot be in the cheap part of town. They must approve your real estate location. So, and you know, the better the retail location is, the higher the per square footage rent that the owner of the establishment must pay. So these guys have very high rent because they're in the high rent district, number one. Number two, you must commit to an advertising and marketing budget of X number of dollars. And I don't know what it is, but I know it's pretty high because typically your Rolex authorized dealers, they have billboards. And holy cow, you know, a billboard can cost you, depending on where it is and on the market, anywhere between $10,000 and $25,000 per month for a billboard. So they tend to have billboards, magazine advertisements, newspapers, stuff like that. You also have to have a certain percentage of your square footage dedicated to Rolex. You need to have the cases, the logos, the display materials from Rolex. They supply you that stuff, and it's all top class. You are not allowed to advertise Rolex or their name or their logo in any way that they don't approve. So, although of course they let you say that you're a Rolex authorized distributor, they don't let you capitalize off their name either. And then worst of all, I think this is probably the most difficult part for the authorized dealer. Worst of all, Rolex basically sends you whatever inventory they want to send you. You don't get to say, "Hey, send me this many subs. I've got a call for some Daytonas, so send those." No, they send you what they bloody well feel like it. And typically those are going to be something like 10 date justs for every 2 Steel Sports Rolex. And what this means is these guys are the authorized dealers are typically getting saddled with an awful lot of watches that are slow moving, and all the fast moving stuff is in very short supply. Now, another video that I will put in the description, a link to another video, is called "Why Your AD is Hiding Rolex in the Back," because they are, a lot of them. That's not our topic, but a lot of these guys are saddled with so many unsellable watches that they hide the good stuff in the back to make sure it doesn't sell by accident. And I flesh that theory out in that video. But let's just take it as a given for the moment that if you're a Rolex authorized dealer, you are receiving 10 slow pieces of inventory, lady Datejust with diamonds, stuff that's very hard to sell. You're getting 10 of those guys, Air Kings, dates, gold pieces, which are very slow to move. Anyway, you're getting 10 of those pieces for every 1 or 2 of the fast-moving steel sports Rolex that we all want. And they don't let you send them back. Okay, so those are your money is tied up in that stuff, whether you like it or not. They give you what they want you to have. Well, what a lot of these authorized dealers do is they take inventory that just isn't going to move and they sell it at cost into the gray market. And the gray market is anybody who will buy excess inventory at a good price. So the gray market falls into multiple categories that we will delineate and talk about in a little bit more detail in a moment or two. But if you are a Rolex authorized dealer and you've got 32 Datejusts, all with fluted dials, fluted bezels, champagne dials, and stick hands, you're not going to sell them. You might take 10 of those and call a consolidator that in the gray market and offer them to buy those 10 watches, and you'll sweeten the deal by selling them one Hulk along with that. And so now there's 11 watches, or maybe you want them to buy 15 of those unsellable Rolexes, and you'll give them a Daytona along with it. And that's how this stuff hits the secondary market. Now, because authorized dealers are selling it out the back door. And I think in some senses Rolex knows this. I think they pretty much have to do it. And I think if Rolex wanted to stop it, I think they could. And the reason that I feel like they could stop it if they wanted to is these watches all have serial numbers. And Rolex, they know to whom they have sent a particular serial number. Like, they know where this stuff is going. They just don't necessarily know where it winds up. So, if it's sold to Smitty's Jewelry and Loan and by Rolex as an authorized dealer, and then Citi sells it to his brother Joey the Loan Shark, who's got a little warehouse, on the bad part of town. If that eventually goes to a user who calls Rolex for service, I mean, how does Rolex really ever trace back, where that watch went? Which, by the way, is why they're removing stickers in the UK, why they're holding back warranty cards. They're doing this kind of thing to slow the secondary market down as best they can, because they don't like it. But at any rate, this is what's happening, at least in the United States. So the authorized dealer is selling a certain number of these watches to either consolidators or to buyers for gray market people like Joma Shop, Goldberg, Kenny Nguyen Jewelers on Time. And these are actually, all the ones that I mentioned, they are all companies that I have personally had transactions or dealt with. They're all really good companies to deal with. There's nothing wrong with any of those guys. And then, of course, there's any, Matt Webb. There's all sorts of guys who, I'm home now, so I'm going to be able to look at you. But I got to lower the steering wheel. You're going to hear a little car noise. There we go. Okay. Hey, let me show you the Polar a little better now that we're here. Look how pretty this thing is. It's a really gorgeous watch, guys. I don't know if you don't like it. I don't understand you. Okay. Anyway, where was I before I lost my focus? Every time I look at this thing, I get a little excited. So there's all these gray market dealers, used watch dealers, people who trade in the forums, in kind of like a more volume or a serious way. All of that's happening. But among those entities is Sam's Club and Costco. So sometimes there's an authorized dealer who will sell to a consolidator who may be a buyer, right for Costco, or maybe it goes to a consolidator who resells over to Costco. And actually, it's not just Rolex. If you go into Costco or Sam's Club, my Sam's Club always has Invicta. Like, that's always loaded with Invicta and Casio. But every once in a while, there's a Breitling, an Omega, or a Rolex. And I know the same stuff is happening to you guys. So no, Rolex does not approve of this. Omega actually sued Costco, and you know, you're gonna have to check me on this, but I'm pretty sure that Omega sued Costco trying to sell this, and they lost that lawsuit, because at the end of the day, if I own a watch and I want to sell it to you, and I'm an authorized dealer, and you're a consolidator who sells over to Costco, there's, you know, there's not a lot that Rolex can do about that. So they're doing what they can. They don't like it, by the way. If you don't like it, let me tell you what, they like it less, because they do not want to see their brand cheapened, because Rolex functions entirely on brand perception, on cachet, on the snooty factor. Even though horologically speaking, Rolex does not, you know, it's not as good as certain other brands that you've heard of less. But in terms of the mass market, Rolex is the shizmit. And that's why when Costco can get them, they're happy to sell them, and then they sell them a little bit above their cost, which is cheaper than the authorized dealer cost. So, long short, if you see a Rolex in Sam's Club or Costco that you like, buy it. You'll get their guarantee on it. You will not get factory warranty on it. You will not get authorized dealer warranty on it. But I got to tell you something, guys. Rolex don't break. They really don't break, especially the modern stuff, which is why they're now giving you a 5-year guarantee on Rolex, 5-year warranty on these new movements. So I wouldn't hesitate to buy a Rolex brand new in the box right out of a Costco. I wouldn't hesitate. However, I think you're going to have a much easier time finding the specific watch that you want at more traditional gray market sources who deal in Rolex on a daily basis. They are more likely to have, sell, and stock, or be able to source and acquire what you want. So anyway, when you're at Costco, by all means, go pick up that $5 3-pound chicken and pick up a Datejust. But good luck finding a Submariner. They're not likely to have that one. Far likelier they're going to have the junk that the authorized dealer can't sell, so they pump it out the back door, free up a little bit of money. Okay, guys, this is Marc Goldberg telling you why Sam's Club sells 3-pound chickens and Rolex. Peace out.
Paint the sky your favorite.